Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're making a massive pivot. We usually sit around asking how smart is our AI, but frankly that's kind of the wrong question now. The real question is, what state can our AI change and can we actually control it? We're digging into a fascinating framework called the action threshold, which is all about what happens when our AI stops just talking and starts doing.
Think about this for a second. What happens when an AI's wrong answer becomes a wrong action? A wrong answer from a chatbot is, well, it's just corrected or ignored by the human reading it. It's mostly harmless. But a wrong action? That fundamentally changes the world your organization has to operate in. It's literally the difference between an AI drafting a terrible email for you to review and an AI autonomously sending that terrible email to your entire client list. Big difference, right? Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll hit output versus action, define this action threshold, look at the 3 risk levels, walk the action path, expose some organizational debt, and wrap up with earning AI autonomy. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Output versus action, the architectural boundary. So there's a massive contrast here. Below the threshold, your AI is essentially just reading, drafting, explaining, making recommendations. The human is still the friction point. We pause, we interpret, we catch the mistakes, so we absorb the ambiguity. But above that threshold, the AI is actively updating records, invoking workflows, rerouting live traffic. It's executing changes at machine speed. The human bridge is gone, and the system itself is making decisions.
Moving to Section 2, the action threshold defined, where output becomes consequence.
All right, let's lock down a clear definition. The action threshold is that exact boundary where an AI alters the state of another system, process, object, environment, or decision trail. It's not just some abstract philosophical idea. It's the literal moment your AI changes something that persists long after the interaction ends. It stops being a helper and jumps right into your operating path.
There is a hard dividing line here. Below the line, the AI just produces information. Above it, it changes state. Your whole governance nightmare begins exactly when output becomes consequence. I mean, a hallucinating chatbot? Annoying, sure, but manageable inside a conversation. A hallucinating action system that alters your actual enterprise environment? That's a totally different ballgame.
Which brings us to Section 3, the 3 risk levels, scaling the danger.
As you scale up, the need for governance shifts dramatically. Got a wrong answer? Okay, you need some human review and better source grounding. But bump that up to a wrong digital action, say incorrectly updating a ticket or changing a network path, and whoa, suddenly you need hard authority, approval thresholds, and rollback capabilities. And a wrong physical action, like rerouting an autonomous robot, now you're talking incredibly strict safety envelopes, physical constraints, and literal emergency kill switches.
Let's ground this with 2 real scenarios from our sources. First, we have Project Riverlight. This is your digital service risk. An AI messes up here, and maybe it alters your network traffic or breaches an SLA. Bad, but it's digital. Then you have Project Ironvine. This represents physical safety risk. An AI messes up freezer door logic or robot traffic here, and you could be spoiling regulated goods or crashing heavy machinery. Physical AI isn't just digital action with hardware attached, it demands a much stricter boundary because of the real-world impact.
Next up, Section 4, the action path explained, from intent to recovery. Because look, autonomy isn't just a simple on or off switch. An action takes a very specific path. It starts with intent, moves through context, authority, policy, service, action, verify, ledger, and finally, recover. The huge takeaway here, governance is completely useless if it's just some static policy document sitting outside this runtime path. It has to be embedded and executable at every single step. Think of AI maturity as a ladder. Rung 1 is read, then recommend, prepare, execute, verify, and recover. Listen to this. You absolutely should not step up to execute on rung 4 until you've firmly nailed your ability to verify on rung 5 and recover on rung 6. In fact, if a smart organization deliberately keeps a high-risk AI stuck at recommend or prepare, that's not a weakness. That is actual governance in action. All right, Section 5, exposing organizational debt, the hidden risks. Here's the scary thought. Pushing an AI above the action threshold rarely creates brand new weaknesses. It just explosively accelerates the ones you already have. It ruthlessly exposes your organizational debt. Got data debt? If your AI is acting on stale inventory data, you've got a massive problem. What about security debt, where too many people have inherited broad permissions? Or the most insidious one, embedded debt. These are those undocumented workarounds humans use every day just to keep things running. AI will turn those informal, quirky fixes into massive automated liabilities.
So the real maturity question isn't, can the system act? It's, has our organization actually earned the right to delegate this action? You can't just borrow authority because a vendor showed you a slick demo. You have to mathematically and structurally prove your enterprise is ready for the blast radius if that automation goes sideways.
Let's talk about how we get there. Section 6, Earning AI Autonomy, the Governance Toolkit.
These key design principles are what turn the action threshold into a daily operating discipline. First, classify actions before approving the tool. Separate access from authority. Require evidence that actually matches the consequence of the action. Always use stored, approved services. No improvising in production. And crucially, preserve an action ledger. Every delegated permission needs a clear scope, a verifiable ledger of intent, and a hard-coded path to pull the plug before any state change happens.
It all boils down to this core operational doctrine: no speed without recovery. Seriously, if you can't roll back, contain, or compensate for a failure, your AI approval thresholds need to stay incredibly high. You have to run recovery drills, simulate failures, and build live operational playbooks well before you expand any autonomy. But hey, don't get me wrong, this isn't about killing progress. As the source material puts it, the threshold is not a wall against innovation, it is the gate that makes innovation governable. Embracing this boundary actually lets you innovate faster. Why? Because your machine speed consequences are safely backed up by machine speed governance. Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. As you look at your own enterprise AI deployments, ask yourself, what level of action has your organization actually earned? Are you just building smart chatbots, or are you truly structurally ready to let your AI change the world? Thanks so much for joining me today. Keep learning, stay focused, and govern wisely.